How to install your 15 horsepower 2-stage air compressor. Tools required. Place the compressor in a well-ventilated and clean environment. The compressor should have a minimum distance of 1 meter on all 4 sides from the wall. Use a forklift to lift the compressor at the indicated lifting points. Install the vibration dampers on all 4 legs of the compressor. Vibration dampers are essential for proper functioning of the compressor. The finished result should look like this. Use a level indicator to ensure the compressor is placed on a flat surface. Oil must be poured into the compressor before operation. Remove the breather valve and pour manufacturer recommended oil into the compressor. The oil level should be at the center of the red circle in the oil indicator. Overpouring will lead to excess oil carryover at the outlet, and underpouring will cause excess wear of parts. Close the breather valve after oil pouring. Electrical connection. Remember, safety is very important and safety gloves must be used. Turn off the junction box. Use the 35 amps circuit breaker. Connect the circuit breaker with the terminals from the junction box. Turn off the circuit breaker. Use a Bakelite connector to connect the terminals between the starter and circuit breaker. Use another Bakelite connector to connect the neutral terminal between the junction box and the solenoid valve. Failure to so will cause improper function of the solenoid valve. For electrical safety, earthing must be done. Connect one end of a wire to the earthing provision on the starter and the other end to the ground terminal. Turn off the starter. To start the compressor, turn on the junction box. Turn on the circuit breaker. Use a voltage indicator to check the voltage. The voltage should be maintained at 420 plus or minus 10%. Low voltage will cause the compressor to struggle during starting and may lead to permanent motor damage. Turn on the starter. Take a piece of paper and show it before the compressor. If the paper is blown away from the compressor, it indicates proper function. If the paper moves towards the compressor, it indicates incorrect function and wiring error. Check the terminal wiring and change till you achieve proper function. Use a voltage indicator and check the voltage during operation. The voltage should be maintained at 420 plus or minus 10%. Check the motor nameplate for the current rating. In this case it is 20.3 amps. Use a clamp meter to check the reading at the terminal. The reading should not exceed the rated current at any given point during continuous operation. Place your thumb on both the air filter intake, to check if there is proper suction. There are 2 safety valves present on the compressor. Pull the cord to check air release. Repeat the same for the other. If the air is released on both the safety valves, it indicated proper function. Check if the solenoid valve is discharge air during starting and stops discharging air after a few seconds. This indicates proper function. To turn off the compressor, the following steps must be followed. Turn off the starter. Turn off the circuit breaker. Turn off the junction box. The helpline sticker contains useful contact information for additional support. You are now ready to use your compressor. Maintenance. The compressor must be turned off before any maintenance is done. Turn off the starter. Turn off the circuit breaker. Turn off the junction box. Air receiver maintenance. A ball valve is located at the bottom of the air receiver. Open the ball valve to drain all condensate from the receiver. This maintenance must be done on an everyday basis to improve your air receiver durability. Push down on the drive belts individually. If the deflection is less, it indicated belts are in good condition. If the belt deflection is high, it indicated poor belt tension and belt replacement is necessary. Air filter maintenance is important and must be done based on the working environment. In dusty conditions, air filter cleaning must be done weekly and clean conditions monthly. Use a spanner to remove the clamping bolt. Remove the rubber gasket from its position. Remove the filter assembly. Use an air hose and blow compressed air into the filter. This will remove dust sticking on the filter element and repeat on the outer side. Replace the filter assembly back into the casing. Move the rubber gasket to seal the partition. Tighten the clamp to secure the filter. Oil maintenance must be done at every 500-hour interval or 1 month. Use a spanner to remove the drain nut. Use a container to collect the used oil. Remove all residual oil from the system and tighten the drain nut. Remember, oil must be poured into the compressor before starting the compressor. Remove the breather valve and pour manufacturer recommended oil into the compressor. The oil level should be at the center of the red circle in the oil indicator. Overpouring will lead to excess oil carryover at the outlet, and underpouring will cause wear of parts. Close the breather valve after oil pouring. The non-return valve function diminishes over time and replacement must be done periodically. It is recommended to replace the non-return valve between 3 and 6 months of operation. There are 2 indications for a defective non-return valve. One indication is by placing your palm on the solenoid valve to check for an air leak after the compressor reached set pressure. Another indication is when the compressor struggles to restart during normal operation, even with proper voltage conditions. Warning: air pressure at the air receiver must be zero before maintenance. Failure to do so will result in injury or death. Use a spanner and to loosen the 3 copper pipes connecting to the dampening pipe. Remove the copper pipes. Use a spanner and remove the retaining bolts of the dampening pipe. Remove the dampening pipe. Use a spanner to loosen and remove the copper pipe connecting the non-return valve. Remove the retaining bolts in the non-return valve. Remove the non-return valve assembly. Replace the new non-return valve parts into the body. Tighten the retaining bolts. Repeat the same steps for the other non-return valve. Tighten the copper pipe connecting the non-return valve assembly. Place the dampening pipe on the clamp and secure the pipe by tightening the bolts. Replace the copper pipes that connect to the dampening pipe. Use a spanner and tighten all the pipes securely. You are now ready to use your compressor.